Enter. Otto Kalt was a small man with metal-rimmed spectacles and dark hair. He stood to attention, raised himself to his full height, no more than 5.5 feet, and clicked his heels. Heil Hitler! He shot his arm out in the fascist salute. From behind his desk, Bormann waved at Kalt to approach. Kalt took 2 steps forward. No one could have looked less like the Nazis' idealistic Nordic Aryan than Otto Kalt. Not even Himmler was such a poor specimen. Bormann was not much taller, but he was broad and powerful, with the build and demeanor of a hog and the cunning of a cur. He ran his hand through his thinning, slicked-back hair and nodded to Kalt. He had known and used Otto Kalt, who was of a similar age, early 40s, half his life. They had been together since the heady days of the early 1920s. Kalt came from a rural peasant family, but he had been a party member since the very beginning and had risen to some wealth. He was useful to Bormann, for he was obedient and had the slyness and callous brutality of his breed. He would shed blood with no more flicker of emotion than if he were killing a pig, as he had shown in the forest outside Parkham, when he had slit the throat of the treacherous Walter Kadau on Bormann's orders. Kalt had always submitted to Bormann, obeying every command, just as Bormann, in his turn, submitted to every desire of his master, the Führer. Some said that Bormann was like a son to Hitler. Perhaps it was true. If so, then it was even more true that he was like a father to Otto Kalt. Bormann's loyalty to Hitler had been repaid with immense power, and he was now head of the party chancellery. Kalt, in his turn, had been repaid for his loyalty, with the means to purchase a large and splendid farm a little way east of Hamburg. Pausing for effect, Bormann stubbed out his cigarette and pulled yet another from the box on his desk, picked up the gold swastika-embossed lighter Himmler had given him for his 40th the previous year, flicked the wheel, and lit it. As an afterthought, he offered Kalt the packet. "American," he said. "Thank you, Herr Reichsleiter," Kalt said, taking one of the luckies. "Otto," Bormann said, handing him the certificate. "I have a small task for you. Read that carefully. Note every detail and then return it to me. It is the birth and baptism record of a 10-year-old girl. I want you to find her and dispose of her, and anyone who has ever been associated with her. It is best if the world never knows she existed. Leave no trace." "Yes, Herr Reichsleiter." "I cannot stress how important this task is. You have done many favors for me over the years, and I have rewarded you well. But nothing has been as crucial as this one thing. Succeed, and I will double your landholding." "I will not fail you, Herr Reichsleiter." Kalt bowed his head. "Good. Because if you do fail me," thought Bormann, "I'm done for." In the hour before first light, Father Peter Huber pulled back the duvet and gazed at the woman's sleep-warm body. She was on her back, her hair tangled across the pillow. Her eyes drifted open, and she smiled at him hazily, as though not sure whether this was still part of her dream. "Come back to bed, Peter." Her voice was husky, soft, and full of sleep. "You know I can't." He knelt at the side of the bed as though about to pray, but instead he bent forward and kissed her pubic hair lightly, breathing in the intoxicating fumes. She rolled towards him, and as he stood up, she reached out and tried to fumble beneath his priest's robes. "Let me kiss you there too." "Trudchen, you are bad." "But that's why you love me, Peter. And later, I will confess to the priest and will be forgiven my transgressions." "I am the priest." "And will you deal with me very harshly, Father? Will you make me say 12 Hail Marys?" He laughed. "I have made you coffee. It's in the kitchen." It was still dark and snowing gently when Father Huber opened the door. Trudchen's house was a little way from the village of Braundorf, a fact which made these nightly visits possible. It was a pleasant